Transfers are domino runs. After all, one move leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and that flows and that flows and that flows. And eventually you get to a place where the move that you are waiting to happen happens. And everyone is happy sometimes. But this time, a single transfer move could undo some pretty big transfers that Leeds United had sorted in the past and thought that we were all done with, because Jack Harrison may be returning to Leeds United, and not too many people are super happy about it. So in this little bit of a video recording that I'm going to do, I'm also live streaming this, so if you see me live, you might catch the stuff in my videos a little bit early. But we're going to talk about what's happening elsewhere, why this could move Harrison to Leeds, the financial impact at Elland Road, whether or not he fits in the squad, if he'd be welcome back, and exactly what comes next. So, first up, we need to talk about what's happening elsewhere, and what is happening elsewhere is Jayden Philogene went from Hull to Aston Villa in the summer, thinking in theory he's going to get some minutes. Clearly, he's not gotten as many as he wanted, and now there is talk about him moving on loan from Aston Villa to Everton. However, Everton, as we know, already have some loan players on wide areas doing the wing stuff. So this brings up its own completely different question of what happens to Jack Harrison, because he's not necessarily been getting the minutes that he wants. I'm going to have a very quick search for exactly how many minutes Jack Harrison has been getting, but I can absolutely promise you it's not what he's hoping for. For some reason, FBref looks rather broken for me. Let's have a quick search. This season so far, he's started 11 matches, played in 17, but he's got 10 90s. He's very much a bit part player there at the minute. And this likely moves Jack Harrison to Leeds because Everton, as we know, are not financially in the most secure of positions. Yes, they're moving into a new stadium and that'll earn them tons of revenue. They're not there yet. And in addition to that, you've got limits on wage budgets, you've got limits on loan places, and since you've got limits on minutes, and Jack Harrison very clearly isn't doing the job there, there is a very, very high chance, according to The Athletic, that Everton will end their loan deal for Jack Harrison, which is probably not ideal for Leeds United. And I'm going to assess a few of the reasons why. The first of which is the financial impact that it will have at Elland Road, which is not good. Jack Harrison is not on a low wage. The reason he went to the Premier League is so he could avoid the wage drop that comes with going down to the Championship, because we made that contract that said, okay, cool, your wage will drop unless you go out on loan, in which case you'll keep your money, it'll just be paid to you by another club. In theory, Everton end that, someone needs to be paying his wages, and it's not Everton anymore because they don't have a contract with him anymore. The club that comes down to is Leeds United. In addition to that, there's a question around whether he'd fit in the squad. You've got to consider the amount of wingers that we've got. We've got Dan James, very good winger. Laji Ramazani, very good winger, plays primarily on the left. Mana Solomon, very good winger, plays primarily on the left. You're getting the picture. Willie Nonto, excellent winger, plays, you guessed it, on the left. Where does Jack Harrison play? Jack Harrison plays out on the left-hand side. As Robert Price has said in the live stream, he won't get in the lead side at the minute. He wouldn't fit in the slightest, which is a problem for all parties except Everton, who get a better winger. Jack Harrison is going to a club that don't want him, and let's be honest, he wouldn't be welcome back. Twice, Daniel Farke has said, if you want to be at the squad, you can stay here. That'd be brilliant. And both times Jack Harrison said, no, you know what, I'm going to go out on loan to Everton. And even after the first season, when we looked very, very promising, like we could do something, he went out on loan and figured, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay on loan at Everton. This was after not being super promising for them last season either. 3 goals, 3 assists. If he wanted to make that big leap forwards in his career, he would have done it by now. And it feels very much to me like Jack Harrison will not be welcomed back by the fans, by the club, by the leadership. I mean, think of the way that fans look at it. We weren't very happy with Brendan Aronson, who spent a season away because he was offered Champions League football. Jack Harrison was offered a season of football at Everton, went out, was shit, and then went again. He's not even got the foundation of being welcomed back. And yeah, sure, if he scored 17 goals in the second half of the season, people would love him, but I don't see that being at all feasible. That's a good point as well. Frank in the chat saying his mum had a lot to say. Yeah, he seemingly hated it at Leeds. So for me, that turns into a question of what comes next. And for me, that in itself is a further problem. It's a question of, well, for Jack Harrison, he doesn't want to be here. For Leeds United, we don't want him here. So if he does come back, we need to find him another loan. Because I don't see anyone taking him permanently unless it's a club owned by idiots. Maybe there's potential for some of the sides at the bottom of the Premier League to want him, such as an Ipswich, but I'll be honest, I would take Jack Clarke over Jack Harrison at the minute. Maybe an argument for Leicester, but they seem happy with Buonanotte. Wolves, perhaps. Not looking likely, and he's not going to want to go to Southampton. So you're running out of clubs that would want to sign him. And if we register him at all at any stage, if he's sent back before the FA Cup match, for example, we can't play him because you can't play for more than 2 clubs in the same season. And whilst Dr. Cox in the chat has noted that Bowen's injured, they've played Somerville out there on the left wing. So if you're Jack Harrison, do you really want to go to be behind Crescencio Somerville in the pecking order? Because Crescencio Somerville in the last game that he played for them was very, very good for West Ham. He was their man of the match. So it's definitely a tough one. And he's not someone that's going to be willing to play in the Championship because he's had that offer 2 years in a row in which we said, no, okay, fine, you can give the Championship a shot. And he clearly doesn't want to give the Championship a shot, which is the issue here. Because at the end of the day, he'd have a decision to make. And his decision, I don't feel, is going to be Leeds United. So what comes next on Leeds' side is, A, don't register him. Don't even consider it. Because that's not worth our time. B, loan him out as soon as we can. And I know it's not necessarily easy to find loans for players, but if we don't loan him out, then we've just got someone sitting, leeching off the wage bill. And the wage bill is already pretty big for a Championship club. And if we don't take those steps, I think we could be in genuine, actual problems, which is not where we want to be, financially and in terms of registration. But at the end of the day, as always, that is all just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, or if you're watching live in the chat. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. That's always really appreciated. Like, comment, all that kind of stuff. You could even become a channel member if you fancy. It's 99p for a month, and you get videos like this one early, unless you watched the live stream, obviously, in which case you would just watch the live stream all over again. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Remember when we all liked Jack Harrison? This is a good point, though. Dr. Cox has noticed that he's the only way he can see it is if Solomon gets recalled by Spurs. Also a good note, but there's a chance that Everton just end the contract anyway. Bloody Jack Harrison, man. What an irritating man. See you later.